Hey man, the hardest part isn't that she left. It's realizing she left long before she actually walked out. You replay everything in your mind, searching for the exact moment things changed, but there's never one clear sign. It's subtle. It starts with smaller replies, shorter conversations, delayed messages. Then the warmth fades. The laughter dies in her throat. Her eyes stop lighting up when she sees you. By the time you finally feel the distance, she's already miles ahead in her mind. That's the truth. Most men never see coming. She disconnected long before the goodbye. What hurts isn't the loss itself, but the realization that she was acting while you were still feeling. You thought you were in love. She was already detaching. You thought it was a rough patch. She was emotionally relocating. And by the time you noticed the change, her guilt has already vanished, replaced by quiet justification. Because when her mind leaves, her heart follows. She stops seeing you as a person she's hurting and starts seeing you as a chapter she's outgrown. That's why she doesn't feel guilty. She's convinced herself that leaving you was necessary, that you weren't aligned anymore, that the relationship just didn't feel right. But that story didn't appear overnight. She's been building it piece by piece, conversation by conversation, until she could look in the mirror and feel righteous about walking away. It's not cruelty, it's self-preservation. To leave without guilt, she had to first convince herself that you'd be fine, or worse, that you deserved it. This is the part most men don't understand. By the time she leaves physically, she's been emotionally gone for weeks, sometimes months. She's already played out every scenario in her mind. Your reaction, your heartbreak, your confusion. She's cried her tears in secret. She's rationalized her decision in silence. So when you finally fall apart in front of her, she doesn't flinch. She's not cold because she doesn't care. She's cold because she's already exhausted all the emotion privately before you even knew there was a problem. That's why you feel blindsided. You're dealing with the beginning of your pain while she's at the end of hers. You're trying to understand. She's trying to move on. You're holding on to a connection that she already buried weeks ago. It feels cruel, but it's not personal. It's psychological. Women detach emotionally before they detach physically because it makes leaving easier. They need that emotional head start to survive the guilt that comes later. But once they make peace with it internally, your suffering doesn't register anymore. When her mind leaves, everything she does becomes a performance. Her smiles are polite, not genuine. Her affection turns mechanical. Her words sound right, but feel wrong. You start noticing how everything about her energy feels rehearsed. That's not your paranoia, that's her emotional mask. She's acting out the script of a woman still invested, but behind the curtain, she's already rewriting her story without you. You're in the same scene, but reading from different scripts. And then comes the silence. The silence isn't punishment, it's closure for her. While you're waiting for an explanation, she's waiting for peace. While you're looking for answers, she's already found acceptance. You'll text her trying to understand what went wrong, and she'll reply with vague kindness. The kind that sounds like empathy, but feels like distance, because she doesn't want to reopen the wound she's already healed from. That's why she'll say things like, "You deserve someone better," or "I just need time." Those are not promises, they're exit lines. You'll wonder how she can sleep at night, how she can scroll through her phone, or go out smiling while you can barely breathe. But that's the paradox of emotional detachment. Guilt doesn't live where justification thrives. She's convinced herself that she tried, that she gave enough, that she has the right to move on. And maybe she did try, but not recently. You're mourning the relationship you still felt. She's letting go of the memory she already disconnected from. When a woman leaves you mentally, the breakup becomes just a formality. Her tone changes, calm, detached, almost eerily rational. She's not trying to hurt you. She's just beyond the point of emotional involvement. You'll ask her to talk things through, and she'll look at you with eyes that used to melt and now just stare blankly. It's not cruelty, it's emptiness. There's no hate in her silence, just absence. And absence is far more painful than anger. Because you can fight anger, you can't fight indifference. You'll keep thinking there's still a chance. You'll tell yourself that if you just show her how much you care, she'll remember. But that's not how emotional withdrawal works. Once her mind detaches, logic replaces feeling. You're no longer the man she sees, you're the man she remembers. She doesn't hate you, she's just numb, and numbness is permanent once it sets in. You can't appeal to emotion that no longer exists. That's why chasing her, after she's emotionally gone never works. You're speaking to her heart while she's operating from her head. You're asking her to feel something that she's already taught herself not to. The more you chase, the more you reinforce her decision, because your emotional desperation becomes evidence, proof that she made the right choice in leaving. The more you plead, the more peace she feels about walking away. But don't mistake her calmness for happiness. Emotional detachment feels freeing at first, but it's never clean. Once the adrenaline of the breakup fades, silence creeps in. At first, it feels like relief. No more arguments, no more tension. But eventually, that quiet becomes uncomfortable. The absence of your presence starts echoing in her daily life. The texts she used to ignore, the jokes she used to roll her eyes at, the consistency she once took for granted. And that's when reality hits. The truth is, her mind left you for peace, not excitement. But peace built on avoidance is temporary. Eventually, she'll realize that what she was running from wasn't you. It was discomfort. It was the fear of vulnerability, of accountability, of commitment. And once she's alone with her thoughts, the guilt she avoided will slowly return. But by then, it won't matter anymore, because you'll have already accepted what she couldn't. That real closure doesn't come from explanations, but from acceptance. You'll go through your own evolution. At first, it'll hurt like hell. You'll want to fix it, to reach out, to prove you were worth staying for. But the moment you realize she left mentally, long before she said goodbye, something shifts inside you. You stop trying to reopen closed doors. You stop begging for clarity from someone who's already erased the connection in her mind. You start realizing that her silence isn't your fault. It's her coping mechanism. And that's where your power begins. Not in revenge, not in replacing her, but in reclaiming your energy. Because now you see it clearly. The woman who left mentally was never going to love you physically again. You were loving a memory while she was preparing for an ending. You were investing in potential while she was counting down to escape. The moment you understand that, you stop personalizing the loss. You stop chasing ghosts. When you stop trying to make sense of her detachment, you start reconnecting with yourself. You begin to see how much of your identity was tied to her presence, how much of your peace depended on her consistency, and you finally ask yourself the question that changes everything. Why was I so loyal to someone who was already leaving? That's when healing begins. She'll move on fast, at least it will look that way. Maybe she'll date someone new. Maybe she'll start posting more. It's not always love. Sometimes it's distraction. She's trying to replace the silence you once filled, but you can't replace connection with noise forever. The rush fades, the guilt returns, the reflection in the mirror starts whispering reminders. And that's when she realizes she didn't leave you because you were wrong. She left because she couldn't handle what was right. By the time she feels that, you'll have already transformed. The man she left behind won't exist anymore. You'll have gone through the nights, the anger, the confusion. You'll have faced your own darkness and come out wiser. You won't hate her, you'll thank her, because her detachment forced you to detach too. And in that silence, you rebuilt the parts of yourself that depended too much on someone else's attention. And then, ironically, she'll come back. Not always physically, but energetically. She'll start watching your stories again. She'll text casually, pretending it's harmless. She'll test if the door is still open, but it won't be. Not because you're bitter, but because you've moved on emotionally, just like she once did. You'll finally understand the peace she was chasing, but you'll find it without running from yourself. That's the cycle. She leaves to find peace, you suffer to find strength, and somewhere in between, both of you learn that detachment always has a price. Hers is guilt delayed, yours is pain transformed, but only one of you grows from it, and it's the one who faced it, not avoided it. You faced the fire, you sat in the silence, you felt everything she ran from, and that's why you came out stronger. She'll feel that shift. Women always do. They can sense when your energy no longer belongs to them, when your silence isn't bitterness, but balance, when your calm isn't pretense, but power. That's when her guilt resurfaces, because now you've become everything she thought you'd never be, unbothered. She'll remember the version of you that chased, that pleaded, that cared too much, and realize she'll never meet that man again. The truth is, guilt doesn't vanish, it just waits. It hides behind distraction, denial, and new faces. But eventually, it resurfaces when the noise fades. She'll have quiet moments where your memory sneaks back in, not to haunt her, but to remind her of the difference between excitement and stability. She'll realize that the peace she chased by leaving wasn't external. It was something she destroyed by disconnecting too soon. And by then, you won't even crave an apology. You'll be past that. Because once you've accepted that her mind left before her body did, forgiveness becomes easy. You stop expecting closure from someone who never had the courage to be honest. You understand that emotional detachment isn't evil. It's just cowardice wearing maturity's mask. And you stop waiting for the mask to fall. You'll look back and realize that she wasn't heartless. She was just done pretending. And while that truth may sting, it's also freeing. Because it forces you to do the same. To stop pretending you can change people by loving them harder. To stop expecting consistency from those who confuse feelings with convenience. To stop giving permanence to people who were only meant to be lessons. The man you become after being left by someone who checked out weeks earlier is a different man. He's quieter, sharper, wiser. He doesn't chase emotions anymore, he studies them. He doesn't beg for loyalty, he earns it through self-respect. He doesn't react, he observes. And most importantly, he doesn't attach his peace to anyone's presence ever again. That's when real attraction begins. Not because you finally radiate something real. You're no longer seeking love out of fear of being alone. You're sharing love from fullness. That shift is magnetic, because women can sense when a man no longer needs them, and paradoxically, that's when they want him most. But by then, you'll have learned the art of restraint, of loving without losing yourself. You'll understand that her guilt or lack of it doesn't define your worth. Her leaving wasn't your loss, it was your awakening, because nothing teaches self-mastery like emotional abandonment. Nothing builds resilience like realizing you survived someone's indifference and still kept your heart intact. That's what separates men who stay broken from men who evolve. You evolved. So when you see her again, whether in person, online, or in memory, you won't feel anger, you'll feel gratitude. Because she didn't ruin you, she redirected you. Her silence became your teacher. Her absence became your motivation. Her detachment became your initiation into emotional strength. And that's a lesson no apology could ever replace. In time, you'll stop seeing her as the one who hurt you and start seeing her as the one who helped you grow. You'll realize she didn't need to feel guilt for leaving, because her exit created your evolution. You'll forgive her not because she deserves it, but because you deserve peace. And when peace becomes your standard, chaos stops feeling attractive. So yes, she feels no guilt because her mind left you weeks ago. But one day she'll feel something deeper. The emptiness that comes from leaving someone who would have done anything to stay. And you'll feel something rarer, freedom. The kind that comes from no longer needing closure because you've finally become it.